We've had reports you are violating property code. You have been warned. This ends today.
You are not police. Move your hand off that holster right now.
Do not move. We just need to ask you some questions.
Drop the weapon. Walk away. No one gets hurt.
He aimed a loaded gun at me in broad daylight on my own street. The only problem was he had no idea the man he was pointing it at had spent 10 years as a Navy SEAL, trained to end situations exactly like this one. Comment below which country you're watching from, because this story travels. I moved into Oak Ridge Meadows because I wanted peace. After a decade overseas, I wanted quiet mornings and space to breathe. What I did not expect was an HOA run like a military occupation by its president, Tina Marsh. Tina was not just strict, she was obsessive. Paint color, mailbox size, the height of the grass. The first week I moved in, she stopped me on the sidewalk and told me they expected everyone to follow the rules. I smiled and said I had spent most of my life following rules and I would be fine. She did not like that. From that moment, I was marked. First came the citations, improper tool storage, unauthorized yard equipment. Then came the patrols. 2 men in tactical vests and cheap radios acting like they had jurisdiction over private property. They were not police, but they believed they were. I told them once that if they stepped on my property again, I would have them charged for trespassing. The tall one, Mason, grinned and said they had authority here. Not over me, I said, and closed the door. That should have been the end of it. It was not. It was around 1 in the afternoon, hot enough for the asphalt to shimmer. I was walking home from a friend's place a block away. The neighborhood was quiet. Then a white pickup rolled up fast and cut across the curb to block my path. The doors flew open, Mason on one side, his partner on the other, both in their HOA vests like they were executing a raid. Mason's voice was thick with manufactured authority. We have had reports you were violating property code. Got a minute? Not today, I said, and moved past him. He stepped in front of me. His partner, the twitchy one, rested his hand on his holster. That is when I saw it. A real gun. Not plastic, not airsoft, real steel. My hands moved behind my back and wrapped around the Glock 19 tucked under my shirt. Legal, loaded, always there. I kept my voice level. You are not police. Move your hand off that weapon now. They did not. The barrel came up. Sunlight caught the metal. In that frozen second, the world went quiet, the way it always does before something happens that cannot be undone. My weight shifted, breath steady. I was not angry. I was focused. They thought they were about to scare a homeowner. They had no idea what they had drawn down on. I told them to drop the weapon and walk away, and no one gets hurt. Mason grinned and said HOA rules apply to everyone. The twitchy one said they could do this the easy way or the hard way, his voice shaking so badly it was almost tragic. Scared men with loaded guns are the most dangerous thing on earth. I watched both sets of hands. When the twitchy one jerked his arm up in that half second of reckless motion, 10 years of training took over. 3 shots. The first caught his shoulder and spun him sideways. The second put him on the pavement. The third shattered the gun from his grip. He went down, alive, but finished. Mason charged. 1 sidestep, 1 wrist grab, 2 elbows into his ribs, and I put him on the ground hard. The sound of bone giving way silenced the entire street. Stay down, I told him. He could not have moved if he wanted to. Neighbors were outside, cameras up. I stepped back slowly. Glock pointed down and said loud enough for everyone that I was the homeowner acting in self-defense, and they drew first. I holstered the weapon, raised my hands, and waited. Deputies arrived fast. I was cuffed, standard procedure, while paramedics worked the tomb on the ground. Mason had 3 broken ribs and a punctured lung. His partner had a bullet in his shoulder and a shattered thigh. Under questioning, both gave up the same name. HOA President Tina Marsh had sent them and promised them a bonus for scaring me into compliance. She had been running the same operation against other homeowners who refused to pay bogus fines. Both men were charged with impersonating law enforcement, aggravated assault, criminal trespass, and attempted armed intimidation. The gunman received 6 years in state prison and $30,000 in fines. Mason got 4 years and $25,000 in fines, along with permanent nerve damage that ended his ability to work. Tina Marsh was charged with conspiracy, solicitation, and abuse of authority. She resigned before the first court date and received 18 months in county jail, $50,000 in fines, and a permanent ban from any HOA board. When the sheriff handed me the official clearance report, he said, completely justified use of force. I looked out at the street where it happened and told him maybe next time she would think twice before sending hired thugs to do her dirty work. He said half the HOA board had already quit. I told him that made it a better neighborhood already. Drop a like if this story hit different, and tell me in the comments what you would have done if fake HOA security pulled a real gun on you in front of your own house.